Hi everybody, quick update. You can actually kind of see where there's like a faint line about here-ish. That's actually where part of my camera is messed up because my phone's screen is slowly cracking on the inside. I don't know why. But anyway, a little quick update on my housing situation. I am still homeless, still in my 1988 camper. Oh gosh, yeah, you can really see how the quality of the camera has gone way, way down. But yeah, so I've opened it up a little bit. For example, I now have, where is it? Aha! My skylight is open. um, it's like a vent type of thing. That's open for the summer. Probably not going to close that because it can get well up over 100. It got up to like 90 degrees on a sunny 70-degree day. So that's a problem. But I did take down all the plastic off of the outside except for like one or two windows. And I took down the bubble wrap and whatnot and all the blankets. I just have a bucket of blankets outside now. I don't know what to do with them. I don't have room. I took this little dramatic meatball to the vet. Yes, you. Because she has a lump on her leg, right? And this lump, they evaluated it. Oh yeah, you can really see the little thing right there. That's the crack. Um, so they evaluated the lump, and it's not cancer. It's actually an infection from maybe a bite or a swollen node of some kind. Um, so yeah, that was fun. So now she's on antibiotics. She is very offended whenever I go. She like runs from me in fear. So I have to like chase her down, and then she acts all offended after, and then 20 minutes later she's all back to her loving self. She is so dramatic. But yeah, so that's her. And yeah, so she's on the mend. So that's good. I do have another appointment for the vet, for a different vet, one within walking distance, but because they couldn't get her in immediately, that appointment is for June 3rd, but I felt like I couldn't wait because cancer can kill within weeks. Like, you just wake up one day and there's a strange lump on your cat, and you go to make a vet appointment, and if it's cancer, they have sometimes weeks, not months. So I took her to a vet that could get me in right away. Um, so I had to ask for a ride for that. Thankfully, I could find one. And yeah. So the one in walking distance, though, once I'm an established patient, I might be able to get in quicker whenever I need to. Because problems do crop up randomly. Yes, they do. She's like, yeah, whatever, mom. But yeah, so the way I manage my windows in my RV is I just kind of leave them open. The kitchen window, you can see my backpack on top of my battery bank and whatnot, my pee bottles and whatnot. But the window in the kitchen opens out like at a slant. So the rain can't actually get in, but fresh air can, which is really important when you're trying to stay cool in the really sunny days. Because there's days coming up. It's going to be rainy for the next few days, but then it's going to be so sunny and hot. It'll get well up over 100. I 100% guarantee it. And also, um, this happened to a couple of my soda cans. The bottom popped right out. Now, they didn't like pop open, they didn't explode, but they did pop out with the expansion because of the heat at like 90 degrees. So if it gets over 100, it's probably going to burst them open. So I'm going to have to be careful where I store my canned goods, so to speak. Probably going to have to go easy on canned goods this summer. But I'm running out of options, man. It didn't do that last summer. So yeah. I still have mold problems. I still have the ceiling cracking problems. But I am alive so far. The ceiling has not fallen down on me yet. Keyword yet. I'm still on every wait list available. I tried to renew my license, but it hasn't come in the mail yet, and the one that I have on me has expired, so technically I have an expired license. But I did apply for a renewal before the other one expired, so once that comes in the mail, I will be able to rent a moving truck if I can even find a place to live. Without that license, though, I will have to rely on maybe hiring a moving company or something, because I technically myself do not have a valid driver's license on me until it arrives in the mail, if they've decided to approve my renewal. It could take up to 6 weeks. So yeah, for the next month and a half, it's touch and go about, going with an expired license and explaining that I did get a renewal. It just hasn't arrived yet in the mail. Some people might let it slide, some might not. But yeah, no, the it's getting bad in America, guys. Like, okay, so people like me without my identification are pretty much sitting ducks, because they have officially made it a federal thing where you can be punished with prison time or forced institutionalization if you are found to not have a place to live or adequate shelter. That's me. I'm living in my vehicle essentially. But people pretty much leave me alone in the parking lot. Like this past winter, someone just opened my door and left it open. Um, in the middle of the night, on like a 20-degree night, which it wasn't too bad because the blanket I had put above my door to kind of insulate it a little, kind of prevented my cats from wandering out. So my cats didn't wander out. I wasn't too cold because I had a heater going on, so it was okay. But like also somebody just randomly opened my door, and they could do that because I had no way to really shut it. I have no way to really lock my door. It's a very insecure living space. But I'm working it. It wouldn't be so bad if I knew that the ceiling was not going to fall down on me, but it is in fact falling, and it's only a matter of time before it collapses entirely. Um, it wouldn't be so bad if I had maybe solar panels set up with a better battery situation. It wouldn't be so bad if I had I don't know, maybe I could like tape the solar panels to the side of my rig and like maybe I'll do that this summer. And then just feed the cords up through um feed the cords up through my kitchen window. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Ooh. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Squirrely ADHD brain. That's a fun thing too. Not a lot of people realize that I have ADHD and autism and PTSD and a bunch of other stuff. It's a mess. Um, but my anxiety was greatly reduced when I realized that my furry little meatball was dramatic and not actually sick. Um, so that's good. I still go every morning for coffee and a breakfast sandwich, so that's kind of a routine that comforts me. I washed my hair at the gas station today. Not, not ideal, but also, it's fine for now. I can keep myself clean, I can keep myself fed, I can keep myself, you know, relatively presentable, because for those who are not presentable, they will get hauled off to prison or forced institutionalization. And one of the reasons they're doing this, I think, based on a few other things, I think they're doing it to reduce the amount of people that could fight back against the tyranny of the government. Not to like sound like revolutionary or whatnot, but like they're building gas chambers. We know about it, but there ain't shit we can do about it. Um, they're building gas chambers supposedly because of death row inmates, but like there aren't that many death row inmates. So what are they building the gas chambers for? Why are they building gas chambers? They should be reducing the amount of ways to kill people, but no, they've authorized hangings again. They've authorized firing squads again. They've authorized gas chambers again. They're building the structure to kill us all. And they're expanding the prison system in preparation for what they plan on doing to the American people, because there are just too many homeless. Now, I would advocate that they should put more mental health housing and construct more mental health housing, and then offer it to people who willingly institutionalize themselves, but they're not going to do that because that's not their goal. Their goal is to take all of the people that are just living outside who don't have anything left to lose, and they're going to corral them. And in prison, you are, in fact, sometimes required to work, but the prison is getting paid, not yourself. You are working on behalf of the prison. The prison is the one earning the money. Prisons will hire out their prisoners for free labor, essentially. So it is slavery. And it is legal slavery because you give up your rights as a person when you get arrested and imprisoned. And they're going to start imprisoning homeless people for vagrancy. So people like me who didn't do anything wrong except be homeless, except be poor, except not have anyone else to help take care of me, and in this economy it's nearly impossible, um, for no other sin than being poor, we're going to be imprisoned and enslaved. And that's not a paranoid thought. That is the infrastructure that they are setting up to do. And another way that they're encouraging homelessness rather than solving homelessness is they have requalified what counts as a service animal. So people who had service animals before for psychiatric reasons instead of medical reasons, they are no longer qualified and they're getting kicked out of their housing, or forced to give up their service animals because they're not the right kind of service animal. A lot of people are just like, fuck that, I'm keeping my animal, and then they get kicked out. There's a lot of people whose animals are for medical reasons, but not physical therapy reasons. Seizure alert dogs, diabetic coma alert dogs. Alert dogs don't qualify for homeless housing, for Section 8 housing. A lot of they're erasing the qualifications that allow people to keep their medical issued animals with them. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of disabled homeless. They're going to either die off or be imprisoned, quote unquote, for their own good. And then that is the infrastructure they are building over here. So yeah, that's kind of one thing that's happening to the citizens of America. And it's not talked about a lot, and it's not the awareness of it isn't spread a lot. They're trying to rewrite history. They've pardoned everyone at the January 6th insurrection. So at the last election, before this most recent one, when they voted in a different president, President Trump decided that he was going to encourage a bunch of his cult members, and it is a cult. They're not patriots, they're not like good citizens, whatever. A lot of them have been arrested for other things like drugs and pedophilia and domestic violence and a bunch of other shit. Um, so it doesn't surprise me that they would also try to prevent the changing of power, which is an insurrection, because Trump lost um, the 2020 election. So in January 6th of 2021, I believe it was, or 2020, I don't remember. It was not this past election, but the election before, when Trump lost. He didn't want to give power over peacefully, and he told his followers that he would refuse to give power over freely. And part of being a president is you are supposed to encourage and facilitate a peaceful transfer of power. So he neglected to do that. He actually encouraged a bunch of his cultists to overrun the Capitol. Over 100 people were hurt that day. A few people even died. I mean, people were like taking off their Congress identifications so that they wouldn't be targeted. People were literally running for their lives and hiding because the police got overrun. People stormed the Capitol, and it was just a terrible day. The transfer of power still took place, but only just. But yeah, no, Trump has said the second time around that he's not going to transfer power. He's going to gut the system that would force him to do so. He's suing the government. Trump is suing the government. Okay, and since he is running those, like, since he's the head of those departments and he has to sign off on everything, he's basically ordering. So he's both the plaintiff and the defendant, technically. Um, Trump, as an individual, is the beneficiary of the departments that Trump is running. So he's stealing billions of dollars. Like, he's settling for billions of dollars against himself. And he can do so legally because of legal loopholes about whether it's Trump the person or the head of the department, which just happens to also be Trump. Um, so yeah, he's basically suing the government for money that he's authorizing to be given to himself. Um, so he's conning billions out of the government. He's cutting billions in funding for things like food, housing, etc. to the poor. And he doesn't give a shit. He really doesn't. And he's convinced all of his followers that he's the second coming of Jesus. You have all of these religious people going, no, no, he wouldn't lie to us. He's the second coming of Jesus. He's, God's word on earth. He's our religious leader. We're going to make America Christian again. And it's like, well, first off, no. The founding fathers would be horrified at that, because the government, as it was founded back in the start of the country, forbade such a thing because it would weaken both the church and the government. But also, they weren't all the same brand of Christian, and they recognized that they were working together for something bigger, so they would not. They would refuse to make one particular religion legal, because that would mean that other religions are illegal. And the list goes on. There's a new anti-terrorism list that was released, like who to target for terrorism. If you say things that could be interpreted as pro-trans, pro-choice, anti-Christian, just for a few things, you would be considered a terrorist. If you said anything that could be considered a criticism of the government, that could be considered terrorism. So, like, this video technically is terrorism if I say something like that trans women are women. That's a radical gender ideology, which is considered terrorism. If I say something like that I believe that women have the right to abortions because it is part of some necessary healthcare practices, that is anti-family terrorism. And it's all bullshit to target people that they don't care about, that they want to trim away to make their far-right ideology cults the majority, because they know they're not the majority right now, so they're trying to clip away at everything that could counter them, everything that could stop them. If all the separate groups rose together, the far-right hate movements would have no secure seat here, and they would be gone. That being said, the data centers alone, our government has sold off a lot of the national forests and has dissolved the national forest, has dissolved like the forest rangers organizations and all that. There are no more forest rangers anymore. They're very rare, at least federally. Individual states may reinstate the reserves, but that's only if they even still have control of them. The national reserves, they're all sold to companies now. People are setting up oil rigs, data centers, and data centers are bad. They're not quote unquote data centers. They're like AI run monstrosities that take like gallons of water for seconds of AI video. So they're rewriting history on that. And what I say when I say that they're taking water, I mean these data centers are poisoning the watersheds. So yeah, the BP oil spills and whatnot, the pipeline that broke years ago that poisoned entire towns and made entire towns unlivable. Yeah, the AI data centers are doing that, and they're being built everywhere against the will of the towns that they're being built in. People are fighting back, but I mean, these people are still trying it. They're trying to ruin life, to make life unsustainable here, which is bad. So yeah, plant wildflowers and shit. I got nothing for you, man. I can't do shit. I am one of the kinds of people that will be killed off when they finally enact their plan, which is real. Yeah. So this is a little slice of history for you, I guess. Bye.